hello, 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 everyone out in BABSLand or BABSLab land. I don't know what we call it.
BABSLab
I'm Sonya.
Blah 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 blah
blah blah blah blah blah.
It's Blabland.
We had to run that past. We had to run that past our lawyer, Bob blah blah. Someone saw Arrested Development. Anyway, so this is the VA panel. I'm Sonya. I'm the founder of BABSCon, and with me are three amazing talents. We have Brian Drummond, who is the voice of everything you've ever heard of and probably a few things you haven't.
Hello, hello, glad to be back.
Give us your quick resume there, Brian.
Oh, this quick resume. Wow. Well, this is my 30th year as a professional actor.
How do people know you?
Graduated from theater school in 1990. Yeah, well, in My Little Pony, I've done a lot of stuff, from Mr. Cake in season 1 to Filthy Rich and Owie Zodel and Double Diamond. I think I probably played about 30 guys, so it's been a blast to be a part of so many seasons. And and Spike in the G3 My Little Pony in Generation 3, so
That's
which
right.
is a very different Spike.
I do not think a lot of G4 fans know that.
There's sometimes they don't. They go, what? Yeah, I know. I sang all these songs and did this crazy stuff for a live production. I don't know if anybody's seen videos of that live My Little Pony that went on the road, the big Tea Party show where there were all these actors in full-on pony outfits, and there was a kind of giant Spike costume, and we had to record all the music for it in Vancouver. I didn't tour with the show, but all our voices were what were coming out of these huge puppets that were leaping around the stage. So look up live My Little Pony and you will see me singing some strange little songs as Spike in that live touring sort of Broadway version.
We are definitely going to come back to that. But first, I need to introduce our other participants. We have Katrina Salisbury.
Hey.
And everybody knows you as Yona the Yak, but where else might they have seen you, Katrina?
I've done a lot of, I can't say a lot of when I'm with legends here. I've done a few anime shows, a couple of video games. You can probably hear me in like a Subway commercial every now and then. No, I've just started really. I started God, okay, no, it's my birthday today.
Happy birthday today.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
I'm an age. I'm a certain age.
Wow, you can drink now. That's so great.
Yeah,
I think you might be old enough to play a teenager on the CW now.
Yeah.
Yes.
and last but certainly not least, Ellie Ray Hennessy. You know her as Mist Main. She's been working in the biz a long time, going all the way back to Care Bears. Is that not right? Oh,
muted.
Ellie Ray, I think you're muted.
Where are you?
Oh, no, now you're good.
There we go.
I'm not muted.
We can hear you now.
Muted? Okay, that's a big one for me. I'm never muted. Yeah, I've been around for 45 years, so I've been dancing in this light form for so long now, and I still love every second of it. And this fandom in particular, gang, thank you very much, all of the brilliant bronies and pony lovers out there in the audience, makes it all the more fantastic. So thank you. Couple of nice, great shows on the go right now with a new Cartoon Network show, an Agent Binky, and a television series, two television series on camera. Pink is in, and Insomnia. It's a busy time right now, and I'm directing a documentary film, which is great. There's lots going on. The world is alive and well. We are thriving, and storytelling is
coming back.
So yay.
Okay, Brian, we gotta talk about the G3 Spike stuff, because I actually remember you being on a panel back with us way at the beginning of BABSCon, and you actually did talk a little bit about G3 Spike. Now, he had a very different voice from Kathy Wesluck's Spike.
Yes,
a little more supercilious, as I recall. Can you give us a little bit of that? Because let people hear like alternate universe Spike. They might not know.
Alternate universe. Well,
Well, previous generation, actual universe.
A completely previous generation. Yeah, they sort of, and it was some sort of little mini movies they did, and when they hatched him, they really wanted him to be kind of it was a different time too, like a leader of the girls, and how to show them how to do things in the world, and which, you know, no male should be doing whatsoever. I mean, it was so but he was sort of a little bit hoity-toity, so he was Master Hillspot and Heathspike was, and he talked like this, was where he was. Not full English accent, but just a little bit sort of upper class dragon that knew it all and had been there. And he was all about, you know, hold your finger high when you hold that cup of tea, kind of a guy. And it was that's what he sounded like. Even though he was and from the moment he was born and hatched out of the egg, he came out sounding like a 45-year-old Englishman, which was weird. But you know what? And maybe that's why they changed it up. And I love what Kathy does. It's just so amazing. Some fun stuff. But I think they probably had that in mind because the previous generations had a sound like that in the generations before even I did the G3 version. So, but yeah, and then they did that weird, crazy touring show, and we just got called in to do all the singing parts and then the dialogue that they had, because clearly the people in the huge, literally Barney sized outfits couldn't actually speak inside them or do their dialogue. So the whole show is just recorded.
Like a cooling system in there.
It must have been. And the people who played the ponies, it was kind of funny. They would be standing in the front, so their heads were in the head of the pony and their front legs were the front legs, but they had this sort of structured back and back legs that kind of hovered above them. So it must have been some kind of belt system, so that the whole back of the pony was still just one person. There wasn't someone who was the butt end of the pony for this tour. It was still just one outfit, but they could move forward and make it look kind of like those back legs were moving, even though they just kind of swung freely. It was, look up live show, and you'll be surprised to see it toured and people went to it with their kids. I'm sure the parents were like, why am I here? But the kids were loving every minute of it. Yeah.
No, I think Hasbro's missing a big opportunity not to do the same for G4, but like on ice.
Yes.
Oh, I think
absolutely.
they did something on ice.
On Broadway.
Yeah, they did do something on ice, but
Or on Broadway.
no, I mean,
on
like,
Broadway,
y'all
on
gotta
ice.
practice. Y'all gotta practice your ice skating.
But in
I mean,
Canada,
you're all
would
Canadian. You can
big-
do that.
yeah.
Like you do after your.
He
after
used
your
to
walk.
figure skate like as a baby, though.
A
Very
baby
long time
figure
ago.
skater.
Baby figure
Wow.
skating. So there was a lot of like
Skater.
falls on your butt, and then you get up and you'd like
Baby
go a little bit,
skater.
fall.
Is it called figure skating when you're a baby, or just skating?
I was trying.
or just trying? Yeah.
It's called I'm a baiter.
Yeah.
I'm a figure babe.
Figure baiter.
Figure babe. Figure babe. I'm gonna say that. I was a figure babe.
Figure baiter.
Makes me sound cool.
Yeah, man.
So now that Friendship is Magic is over, and we've all had some time to sort of reflect a little bit on that. Like how do you guys feel about like the impact that that the show's had out there in animation land, because y'all are obviously still working in animation and seeing how those trends are, and like kind of how you've maybe developed your relationship with the characters that you have voiced, if you have. I mean, if that's if they still live in your heads at all, just tell us a little bit about that. What do you think?
I'll grab it.
Do it.
I mean, it isn't over at all in any way, shape, or form. I find that the show lives on. So like I'm on, I think, online PonyCon number 7 or 8 this year, and I've got more that I know of online. And too many NDAs are signed right now about certain things that I cannot speak about. But the show, I don't think, can ever be over. It exists for an eternity online, and just as we're online right now, the characters that we've created, every VA on the show, are captured for time infinitum now, and you can
Mhm.
read it at any time you wish. So,
You know,
when
I'm
we
ashamed that I phrased it that way. That was my bad, and I apologize for that.
yeah, no, it's okay, because I talk to a lot of the fans that say the exact same thing, and it's like, it's really not over. It's like the sacred geometry, the circle. I'm going to go into the Lion King right now, the circle of life, but I feel that it's a story. It's stories. It's the stories that our ancestors tell around fires, singing and dancing and sharing fable. They don't go away. And I don't believe that the show goes away, and I don't believe the characters can ever go away. They will live on in the hearts of the fandom, and I believe, not speaking for every BA in the panel, but for me, the character is very alive and well. She doesn't.
Well, so Katrina, I know that you've identified very strongly with Yona. How did meeting this little yak affect your life? I mean, beyond it being a job and a paycheck, of course.
Oh, I love Yona so much, so much. Like, I really just feel like she is me through and through, which is probably why I got the role. I'm not so sure, but I put my heart and soul into her. She's a clumsy, cute little thing. Like, I fell down my stairs last year and broke my arm, so that's how clumsy I am. And she wants to fit in, and she really loves everybody and doesn't super love conflict, but will stand up for what she believes is right. And I think that's me. Like, I'm pretty meek, but if somebody hurts somebody I love, I'm in there and I will break you, like, it's not happening. So I really connect with her in that way, and seeing so many fans connect with her as well and seeing themselves represented in her made me feel really, really good. And that I was bringing her to life in a way that people could connect with. And it was really lovely to meet a bunch of different people at different conventions and get to chat with them, and reasons why they loved her and why I loved her, and what was the same. So that was pretty cool. And just seeing so many different artwork of her, I love that so much. I love the cosplays. I love all the different pins, prints, blankets. I've got my Yona blanket over there on my couch that was gifted to me by a lovely
See,
couple.
I was just noticing a Yona plush out in our vendor hall on the Discord. Obviously, I think you need to own one of those.
That is what I'm missing. I'm missing a Yona plush.
Oh,
I gotta go look. I gotta go through the vendor halls. Yeah. So yeah, I love her very much.
Well, the thing that I found relatable definitely was that, obviously, being raised a yak, she was given this superiority complex. Says, yak's good at everything.
Yeah.
And of course, learning
Their
that
ways the
maybe
best way, nothing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So I'm sure there are a lot of folks out there in Bronyland that get this. When you're raised a gifted kid, you're kind of taught that, and then you have to learn, oh wait, I'm actually not all that. I have
or there's other things out there, like, it's maybe there's other cultures, other people out there who might be able to teach you something that you didn't know, and that's really, really cool. And it's fun to learn about different cultures and different ways of life, as long as it's accepting of everyone. And it just adds a bit of brightness and color to the world, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's for Brian. Brian, you've voiced a number of different characters on My Little Pony.
Mm-hmm.
Which one did you vibe with the most? This is not like who is your favorite, but who felt like the closest to yourself out of the ponies that the creatures that you voiced, because not all of them were ponies, obviously.
Wow, what felt the closest to me? That's tough. There's quite a, I mean, I'm not actually usually drawn to characters that are close to me personally. I am me all the time, so I really get drawn to to villains and
All right.
and bad
All right.
guys. I just love playing characters that have you have to really think of the way that to make them likable to you, but hateable by everybody else. If that's
So I'm hearing a lot of Awazotl, and here's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, Awazotl is a favorite. Filthy Rich sits in that vein too.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
just a way to sort of, when you get to play with those guys that are just arrogant. I mean, Mr. Cake, I think, is probably a lot like me. I'm pretty casual, easygoing type guy myself. I have resting bitch face most of the time. I always look grumpy, but I'm not. I'm a little more on the inside, probably like Mr. Cake, a little bit like, what are we doing now? Okay, let's go have some fun. That might be a little bit more like me, but I think characters that I relate to and love to play more do tend to be the villains, and I'm drawn to them. So Awazotl was a blast. The parts of the story that he showed up in, and of course Filthy Rich as well. And then of course outside of that, like Ryuk and Vegeta.
And now Filthy Rich got he got a little bit of like a redemption. I mean, he wasn't just a bad guy. He did. He turned out to be kind of reasonable.
He did turn out to be reasonable, but that's part of what you don't know that's coming when you're initially given the role. He's in many ways, he was not a fabulous person, but I still think Awazotl, because he's more of a storybook character, he was probably one of my favorites when he came back. It was great to be able to do him again. I really enjoyed that one.
Oh, any chance? I hated it. I know I shouldn't ask this, but can you give us a curse you daring do? Come on.
Oh, a curse you dare. Well, it's much deeper type of curse you daring do.
Oh, I love
in there
that.
somewhere.
Love it.
I wish I sounded like that.
Oh, everyone wants to sound like Brian Drummond.
I say,
Curse you daring do.
Yeah, there
I
it is.
don't know. You had that back when you were doing Vegeta back in the 90s. So
yeah, I've always had, and I think, surprisingly, I think because Vegeta was so early when I was starting as a young voice actor, and Dragon Ball Z is just screaming upon screaming and fight sequences and yelling, that it actually it really created a lot more probably texture in my voice that might not necessarily have been there for the rest of my career had I not done that. Because early on, I was pushing probably way more. I mean, people loved the performance because I was just throwing everything into it, not thinking about I have to work tomorrow and I'd lose my voice just from yelling. But I do think, and it's technically damage you're doing when you do scream like that, but I do know it added some texture. I know I haven't ended up with nodes or anything from it, but I know I got texture probably earlier in my voice acting career than I may have had I not done that kind of voice. So it's lent, it's made my characters lean towards the bad guys a lot more often, because I can find the character and all those kind of things quite a bit easier, just because of what's happened over the time, right? Oh, we froze. We lost our leader.
My internet.
yeah.
Is it me?
No.
Okay, good. I was like, come on in.
We're trapped in the Matrix.
Yeah.
So Ellie Ray, yeah.
Oh.
To
No.
know about you, the more I feel like that was some kind of synchronicity.
What's that? What did you say, hon? We lost you.
Oh, I was just saying that that for you, getting the character of Mistmain felt like that was some kind of synchronicity, because I mean, she is. I get like very similar vibes off the two of you.
I tell you, I really believe. I swear to God, if it's, I blame Tabitha St. Germain for everything. But
As do we all.
We all do.
I have to. God love her. Shout out to yay Tabs. Anyway,
We love you, Tabby.
Yeah, I love you, Tabby. I love you. She's worried about me coming to visit her in Vancouver because of the plane and the COVID. And I'm like, okay, because you got to get the shots, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, I blame her for everything. And because she introduced me to My Little Pony, because I would babysit her cats when, of course, everybody knows this story. And she would go off to these fabulous conventions and come back with like truckloads of merchandise and flags and gifts and booze and chocolates. And I was like, what is happening? And she's like, it's a convention and for My Little Pony. And I'm like, I want to be on that show. Bingo manifest. Bingo manifest got an audition in Vancouver. I'm from Toronto. I got an audition and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Audition, got a call back. Yay. Got Mist Main. I did not realize first. I actually got another character first that I played a couple of changelings and then and how to change a changeling. But then I got the Mist Main character and callbacks and blah blah blah. And I didn't know until I got into the show to record it that Rarity introduces Mistmane to the fandom in Campfire Tales. And she and Mistmane are sort of like throughout all the story together. Like I'm kind of the pillar that is Rarity's kind of, and I'm going, okay, what are the chances that my best friend becomes the one that as Rarity introduces Mistmane to it's just, I go, that is magic. The friendship, the magic of friendship. I go, there it is. It's just so crackers. Like I just go, oh, okay, wow, this is weird. But I also just kind of love her because she's ancient and, so am I. She's been around forever and she's got this, I just love her story. I love her story because it's about selflessness and actually making everyone else feel. And I try to do that. I'm a coach internationally, and my job daily is to uplift our world, which is there's a lot of doubt in people in this business. Their self-worth is in the toilet. There's doubt, not just in this business, let's be honest, everywhere, but particularly in this business, because we equate our success with sort of how people hire us, and then if they don't hire us, we think, oh, we're no good, which is not true. But it's because I do that every day. I feel like I try to invest that kind of beauty in those around me, because I feel like we're one team. The we is, there's no I in team. And then if I'm successful, you're successful, and if I'm beautiful, you're beautiful, but I'm you, so you're beautiful, so yay, that makes me beautiful. And I feel like it kind of works. And I, on some weird level, I feel like her magic, Mistmane's magic, was to go, you're not an unattractive person who is greedy, not really, you're just scared, and I'm going to help you be unafraid. And I feel like that's what I do when I teach. I want to take away that doubt, that fear, and just say, you're spectacular. You've got to recognize how friggin' spectacular every single person is, really, to be quite honest. But that authenticity, we just don't celebrate. And yeah, I think each one of us have characters here that probably speak, volumes in stories about so many different things, that our world, as VAs, we inspire the masses. We actually change the vibration of the planet through storytelling, which is why My Little Pony has such a huge following, because it's a reciprocal agreement. They show up to conventions with this great amount of love, and we come to the microphone with this great amount of, love and inspiration, and it kind of goes, do that with me, everybody. Who's your bub?
And we do it, and
we go there, right? We all are a part of the little magic friendship train, right?
We are.
So how do you guys, with your all, this is to everyone in the room, given that you have the insider's perspective, working as voiceover artists in the animation industry, how have you seen the effects of My Little Pony on some of the other things that have come down the pike since, and the stuff that you've been working in, or the stuff that you just have observed? What kind of changes have you seen in this last decade post Pony? Well, not post Pony, but like since Pony hit is what I'm getting at.
Certainly for me, starting in the early 90s, and I'm a beneficiary of it. I'm a middle-aged white male, and I was a young white male when I started, and there was just work galore for us. And I, didn't even cross my mind. I'd walk into sessions that were Transformers or like Beast Machines and a G.I. Joe series and He-Man, and there'd be 10, 11, 12 white guys, maybe a token person of color, and maybe one woman. Usually not a woman of color on our shows. And it was show after show. I did a ton of those shows. And until I mean, I think maybe before with a few other things, but until My Little Pony, it started, that was the first time, because I was in the first episode, or maybe the second one of the first season as Mr. Cake, that I walked into a session and every single actor in the room was a woman. And it was amazing difference, an amazing feeling. And that show spawned so many more shows that it got to the point with shows in Vancouver in the past 10 years. I would easily say more than 50%, sometimes 60% of the people on the actors on the shows are women, and the women playing children's roles, and women's playing all the women's roles, and so much more writing. And now we're finally being pushed to change that it's people of color and people of different gender identity, and it's changing so much more. One of the last shows I just worked on, and it's an NDA one, so I won't say, but we all recorded separately because we're not all in the booth yet, but we did a Zoom reading with everyone together on the show, and Vincent Tong was on it as well, and he messaged me afterwards and he said that was just wild. But I was the only of probably 16 cast members and people that were all on this, the only white male on the show. There were people of color, there were people of other that identified differently, and that was bizarre. Like, in 30 years of the business, I said, but what I loved about it, I said, this is what the world looks like. This what I'm looking at here is what it looks like. It doesn't look like what I used to record, and that's what I love. I feel that change really started to happen with My Little Pony, and it's a great thing, because we should be doing shows that everybody can somehow say, I'm in there. And even if they're just ponies, you can still go to the website and see who gave the voice to them, and you don't just want to see all white people's faces, or all men, or all women.
Even white women. Yeah, there's
yeah,
lots of those with
it's just yeah, it's got to be what our society is. When I go to the grocery store, it should look like what I see. That's what we should be seeing in animation, and it's slowly getting there.
I find it, 100%. I'm so on the train where Brian, absolutely. Yeah. But I was just on another panel about a month ago, and it was in Toronto. In Toronto, we have probably 23 directors, and they're female. And in Vancouver, there's more male directors than, I know there are some females, but I think it's more male heavy. I don't know if it still is, but it was when I was.
It's less so now. It's less so now. It's probably about half and half now.
Yeah, but what I've noticed is the directors are all white. So I brought this up.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I did too.
And I went, and everybody kind of, you could hear everyone's sphincter go. And I thought, I thought it has to be said. So we've got BIPOCs that are, thank gosh, I've got to go through all this training at all the universities that I teach at, and it's all we're inclusive in all areas. And I went like this, I go, it's interesting that 23 are white women, and women didn't have that kind of cachet in the past. Even to be directors, it was back in, the late 70s, the 70s and 80s, it was mostly men. There were no female directors. But I said, we've got to change that. And how do you change it? So I said, why don't you allow, voice actors of color to shadow the directors? Because otherwise, how are we going to get, how is it going to happen? And everybody kind of went, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. We've got to do this sort of thing. So I think we've changed, but we still have so much room to change.
Yeah, I was on a union of BC Performers voiceover committee when we negotiated our last agreement last year, and I brought the same thing up. It was fabulous to see the power of women that run the industry, because it was the performers, and then we sit across the table from the producers, and there was one dude. Everyone else was women that were the producers of Wild Brain, and this is the top people. And my question though was, I said, we need to work so much harder in this industry, and even just the visual we have right here, it's all white people sitting here right now, is to change this industry and have more people at the top that are writing the stories.
Yep.
And producing the stories and casting. Everybody in casting is white. Directing, everybody that's directing is white. Like, I mean, it all has to start changing at the top too. And it's starting to change within the sessions, which is great, but it'll need to move up so that we hear those stories, because I want to see those stories too. And those stories don't get told unless the people of color and people that identify in the realm that we have to start writing those stories, and we can get people to produce them, right?
And how about you, Katrina? You're still newer into the industry, so what are your observations as a fresher face?
Absolutely everything that Brian and Ellie have said. Like I definitely have seen, I would say in the last year, it start to get a bit better, but mostly like I know, I mean, I am newer, but I think I've only worked with Vince and Shannon, who are like people of color in the industry as actors. Like I'm still newer, but I don't know that many that I've worked with. And I think I've had one director of color in like in any audition or work that I've done. So it does need to change. And Brian's so right, it needs to change at the top too, because then it can start, like it is changing in the lower levels, but if it changes at the top, then we'll see it quicker in the lower levels.
Yeah, I find it different in the United States. Like I jury the Emmys for best voice, best preschool show, best, everything to do with VO. I've done it for about 15 years. So I get to see, all of the nominees, all of the kind of the creme de la creme in the business who's kind of being, and I get to, listen to everything, and you get to see who the performers are. So I have watched it. I have seen it really change. As Katrina said, it's like in the last couple of years, because such a light has been shed on it, and there's a whole like, you've got, this is not okay. And we're actually at that place where we're talking about it. Yeah. And it's great to put it into action, but like Brian said, like in the 80s and 90s, there wasn't a person of color to be seen in any studio. Mind you, we're talking about the days when we drank wine and smoked cigarettes in studio. And the fact that I was even there, it's because I do male voices, and I can do, thank you, Lord. I've got the voice that they said you'll never do voice work. Well, it actually worked out for me on so many levels, because I've got a strange instrument, so it can do weird things. Thank you. But women, like you said, Bri, it was like they were a quarter, like their 3/4 were male, and the quarter, like it was like you were lucky, and then you had men playing women's roles too.
Yeah.
And that's when you went, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, right.
I played some myself. Usually it's old ladies, but
but then, I started playing all the men's roles too, and the men would get kind of pissed with me, because I'd be playing not teenage boys, I mean men and old men.
Yeah,
and
good for you.
Well, it's weird, because I didn't know I could until I sort of, it discovered playing a little monster, and went on to play other monster. I'm a monster. And then I played the Nicorette monster for a campaign for 6 years, and people were like, that is not your voice. And then I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
Like, thank you, God.
So
I remember those from growing up. When I found out you're the monster, I was like, no way. And
It's kind of embarrassing. Like I kind of go, that's the
very iconic.
It's very sad, but I go, thank you for these little vocal cords that can do very bizarre things.
So given some of the wonderful new shows that are out there, I'm just going to play a little bit of like what if fantasy thing. What show out there, like now or in the last couple of years, would you have just like sold your soul to get cast on? Where would you wish you could be if that you're not?
It's currently on right now. They just got renewed for season 2 and 3. There is no way I will ever be on the show because the cast is out of this world. But Invincible.
Oh
You guys
my
seen
God.
Invincible?
Yep. Yep.
I mean, it's really dark. It's really dark. If you are not good with gore, do not watch it. But the cast is Stephen Yeun plays the lead. Mark Grayson, Sandra Oh is his mom. J.K. Simmons is his dad. It's phenomenal. The acting on that show, my mind is blown every week. The writing, the animation, that is a show I will kill to get on. So, you know, if anybody needs a hitman, that's a producer.
Yeah,
of that
so
show.
like everybody's out there casting, like, you know.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I binged it on Amazon, and that is one show. I'll be a little
Did
character that
too.
shows up and dies right away. Whatever you want to do, I'll be on the show. I'll do it for free. I'll pay you. That's how much I love the show.
For free. I'll do it for free.
All right. What about you, Brian? Fantasy booking. What show would you want to be on?
I'm hinting. No one's getting the hint.
I see it.
No one's getting the
There it
hint.
is.
I wonder what it could be.
What could it
I
be? I don't
Doesn't
know.
look
There-
familiar.
That show cracks me up. It's got some fabulous writing on it. Rick and Morty is just anything that those guys are working on has been just some really. We don't tend to get to do a lot of
Dark
adult comedy up here in Vancouver. Lots of preschool, lots of teen action, and the odd thing. I mean, I was doing Corner Gas, which is about as adult as we get, but it's not, they don't go, you know, as dark as they do with some of these shows. And that's what would really be fun. So that's what in my career I felt like I've missed out on, is the opportunity to get greasy with some of these kind of characters that are on shows like you said, Katrina, and like Rick and Morty, and some of those ones would just be a blast. F is for Family, some of those things, real fun.
You see, I hear you say greasy, and I'm immediately having a Trailer Park Boys flashback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Maybe they'll do an animated Letterkenny up here, and we can all party on that one.
Yeah, they do
Hey,
that.
I think they do. I think they did one.
Maybe they are doing some more of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe there is a Letterkenny animated.
Letterkenny. Oh, there's got to be. It's like the Trailer Park Boys, right? Like
they're born to be animated.
Yeah, they made an animated series out of Trailer Park Boys.
There was a short one of those too. Yeah. How about you, Ellie Ray? What fantasy booking?
So I mean, I love all kinds of shows that I.
Yeah, then toss a few out there. You don't have to bring yourself.
Arcadia, I'd love to be, and I like a fantasy, and I like sci-fi, but I also like things like BoJack Horseman and Big Mouth.
BoJack Horseman.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Kind of
So
like
good.
I like the adult. I'm in an adult cartoon that is, you know, adult and really. I'm so used to doing kind of the preschool thing, you know, which is like it's kind of lighter and bigger and rounder. So when you get to be floating the F-bomb around and talking about, you know, body parts of other genders, it kind of gets exciting, you know, you kind of get in that dry, real sort of way, you know, where you're not sort of the musicality doesn't have to be palatable, right? You know, because you can be scary, and I'm kind of like where Brian was before. I like playing the wicked. I like finding the monsters within. Like we push them down, but they exist in us, and I feel like the actors that can kind of show the underbelly of the beast, that can go to those things we never want people to see in us. It's like you go, whoa, those are the things I really kind of go, get in there and stay down there and don't be, you know, and you go, you know, your monster comes out and you go, what the hell was that? Right.
I love it. I love it.
Feel like if you play a creature, or you play, you know, in gaming, if you go into some of those partial animal, that those morphing characters, or, you know, that have witchcraft or have all those, something fun happens, right?
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah, absolutely.
Some video games.
Okay, so
Mhm.
I told the folks on Discord to start throwing out some questions for fan Q&A, and we've already gotten a couple of good ones. Which the first one was aimed at Brian and Ellie Ray, asking what you guys would like to see. Actually, I'll open it to the whole table. What do you all want? What do you all want to see in Gen 5, Tony?
What do we all want to
I
see in
have
the
to
Gen?
keep my mouth closed about certain
Ourselves?
things here
No, I
because
don't know.
it's sensitive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
Well,
understand. I
like-
understand. There's some things you guys probably can't talk about, but
More
if,
of
you know, if
me.
you're doing it, but like I said, we're in the realm of fantasy here. If you could have anything you want, what would you want?
So yeah, this is the new CG looking one you're talking about, Gen 5, right? That where we've only seen some images so far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty wild. What would we want to see with it? Well, it's got to be something different. I think it has to be its own, or else it just won't feel
Yeah.
right. If it tries to be what they've already done, it has to be its own. I certainly think I'll want to see just what we've talked about here. I want to see a much wider range of ponies of color or whatever, people of color,
Genders, ponies of color.
genders, different
Pwn pock.
experiences.
Pwn pock.
Pwn pock, whatever it may be. It's got to change so it shows us who we are as a people, and I think it'll do great things if they can do that, and they don't just trying to boil it down to the nearest common denominator to sell a stuffy, right, or to sell a toy. I and I know that they're a toy company, that's the ultimate goal, but I think when you get into the realm of animated shows, the ultimate goal should be telling stories, and stories should be about us, and who we are as a people, even in pony form or not. That's how we relate. So I just hope they're great stories. That's whether I'm in them or not. That doesn't matter to me. I just really hope they're fabulous stories.
Katrina, Ellie Ray, what do you guys have to say about that?
The exact same thing that Brian just said. I would love to see some diverse stories. I think that, there's a lot of kids shows that I remember growing up that had really, really great messages that they would, subtly tell you. And I don't think they need to be subtle, but if they are, like, it's nice to see different messages growing up and being like, oh, okay, like this is what being a good person is. And like that person who is, making fun of somebody for being different, they're the bad guy. We don't want to be like them. No. So I think just having some different, diverse stories and some good messaging for the new generation of kids coming out and TikTokers would be good. So that's what
I
I
hope they
want.
have some rock ponies in it called the Linda Lindas. That's what
Oh my God, I
love
love
that.
the Linda
The
Lindas.
Linda Lindas need to make a
I
cameo.
want to go on their
Okay, yeah, that's what we
tour.
want to
Yeah.
see. We want to see the
full
Linda
on, I'm
Lindas
full on.
cameo in
I'm
G5.
I'm full on.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very difficult because I can't say, but it's like I want it to be where the fans change their opinions about what they want. That's what I want to see with the Gen 5. I want them to be open-minded. I want them to
Here, here.
accept everything as it is, just like we're talking about the BIPOC and everything. I feel like we get really onerous of an old way. And it's not that the old way is bad, but I feel that there is a completely different way that can be just as accepted. And I put this on the fans to open your mind to something that you're not expecting is going to be completely different and wondrous, but very different. And don't try to formulate your opinions about what was into what is the new.
Pardon me this gratuitous plug for a future thing, which is a future panel. Tomorrow, 12:15 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, we're talking to Leah Dobsey, one of the character designers for Gen 5, about those Gen 5 ponies.
Great.
Going to be a lot of fun.
And it's like,
so,
it's in everything about Gen 5 is different. Like everything about it is
It's a completely new show.
Recorded in a different place. It's recorded with a different director. It's recorded with a different cast. It's recorded, and we love the things we love. We go, wait a minute, where's the thing that we want? But it's just like Brian said, he played Spike in Generation 3. And, Kathy didn't do the new little thing.
Yeah.
And like, so things change.
Yeah.
and just be prepared that Spike may not be around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We've all got, I always sort of throw, when people get fussy about their favorites, I'm saying it's fine. You have your favorite. We all have I mean, not everybody who's into it, but if you're you have your favorite James Bond. You're a
Yeah,
Sean
exactly.
Connery guy.
Batman.
You're a
Favorite
Daniel Craig
Batman.
guy or whatever, but they're still James Bond. That's the character, but it's totally different versions. And you've got your favorite, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
and
I'm not
it
gonna.
still exists, you know, like
Yeah.
G4
And
still
all the
exists,
voice
so you can always
actors-
revisit it.
All the voice actors will most likely be something in the series because it's just the way of the voice acting world, you know. It's not that, okay, I was on My Little Pony and I don't live in Vancouver. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter where the show is being created, whether it's LA, Tara Strong recorded My Little Pony out of LA, whereas everybody else did it in Vancouver.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. It's all the magic of it will just be another fabulous adventure for us all again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's great.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple of quick fire questions.
Yeah.
First off, all the chat wants to wish Katrina a happy birthday. So just
Happy
wanted to pass that
birthday.
on. This is a quick one. This is a quick one for you,
Best
Katrina,
pandemic
about
birthday.
Yona,
Okay.
which was, how did you feel about Yona officially getting shipped in canon with Sandbar, Vincent's character?
I loved it. I thought I love She's All Yak. That episode was everything I wanted for Yona. So I was so excited when I got the script, and I was just like, yes, yes, yes. Like, this is, you know, growing up as a teenager, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm not like the cutest, I'm not gonna fit in. Like, I just want somebody to like me. And then he's there for her, and he's like, I just like you for you. You don't need to change who you are. Like, you're a good, nice person. That's why I like you. And realizing that. So I thought Sandbar and Yona were super cute together. I think he's a great friend. And yeah, no, I was all for it. All for it.
We actually had one for Ellie Ray. Ellie
Wow.
Ray, the question to you is, out of any of the villains or antagonists in Gen 4 in Friendship is Magic, who would you want to see Mistmane get a chance to have conflict with, or, you know, potentially redeem or fight, or, who would you want her to have a shot at?
I still think I'm all about the kind of ones that they saved anyways, and I feel like there's
Well, yeah.
always an opportunity. It's like, even when I played the changeling leader of the Freedom Forum or whatever her name was, you know, where they were like dealing with what's his name, the brother of and he was just annoying, and everybody wanted him to get out of there. And he was just like, oh my God, you're just so violent and angry all the time, you know, and it worked out. And then you see Stygian, things like, you know, where all of the pillar, everybody's trying to save the, you know, where you go like this. And I feel like momentary, I just think that Mistmane's the princess of the pillars, because that's why her mane's flowing, and I believe that she's a princess. I just believe that in my mind. That's my own folklore. But I believe that even with, you know, Luna and stuff, moments of darkness and moments of weird stuff, I feel like there's where she takes on, I just feel like her as part of the team, but as the part of, let your beauty be not one of anger and one of combat, like, you know. And there's so many characters. I mean, like, you know, there's a number of villains, even Discord, who started out kind of cuckoo and mean, and then he kind of went, you know, just funny and whatever. But you know, it's the thing where you want to just sit down in the realm of Ponehenge or something, like, I don't know, and go,
I love
you
it.
know what I mean, and go, come on now, everybody, let's try and get rid of all of your fears and your doubts about yourself, so that you're not a cranky pants. Okay, can we just deal with that? Like, I feel like my characters just want to sit down and talk to everybody, and I'll use a bit of magic, sure, I'll use a bit of magic, but, you know, and there's a lot of characters that are not like big villains, but are just like kind of like, you know, if you think about it, there's so many just disenfranchised ponies that are just like, right, battling the thing. And I think that Miss May just wants to talk to all of them like the friendship forum leader of the changelings. Like those are two characters.
Absolutely.
Let's just all sit down and try to breathe out our doubt and breathe in confidence. Okay.
Okay, well, here's one for the whole table in a related vein. This one got brought up in the chat, and I love this because it actually got brought up in the comic book creator panel earlier. Because Open the Comics, they actually did get to do a My Little Pony Transformers crossover. So the question is,
Yeah, saw that.
The question is, if you could will into being a crossover between Friendship is Magic and any other thing, any other work of fiction, what would it be and why?
Ooh.
Just
Oh,
whoever has an answer
question.
first, jump in. What's
I'd have
the
to
what's the
be
My Little
like-
Pony crossover of your dreams?
Hobbit, the Hobbit.
Oh, that would be
Oh.
good.
Potter or Harry
Yeah.
Potter or
Lord of the
Disney-
Rings, like they're
Lord
going
of
on an
the Rings,
adventure. That would,
anything
that would be
Star-
so good.
Star Wars, The Hobbit,
Sure.
Lord of the Rings,
I guess an Invincible one would be kind of dark for
Harry
my
Potter.
A little bit.
Maybe,
So I don't know.
yeah.
I could see someone like Twilight just sort of stopping Omni-Man in his tracks, going, "Now listen here, Mister.
Yeah. Do
I don't
not
know about
get
this
to describe
Viltrum."
it.
You know what we could do? We could. Oh, I mean, what about Star Trek?
Star Trek would be cool
Absolutely,
too.
that'd be
Pretty cool.
fantastic.
Discovery,
Yeah.
where we go into sort of exploring, like, you know, that could be kind of fabulous. Space travel, where it's all like going to different planetary realms through wormholes and all the different creatures and monsters and stuff that we could find. The Klingons.
And like Marvel DC too. Those would be cool crossovers.
Oh, yeah,
There's so many great
totally,
characters.
Totally.
It's like the list is endless.
You know,
How
there's
about
actually
those Dragon Ball Z crossover drawings you sent me? You sent
There
me,
you go.
you know, you have like a 4-episode arcs of just 2 ponies just full on fighting. You know,
I
just nothing.
You know what else would be really cool? The
I mean, they basically did that with the season 4 finale, Twilight
Yeah.
Kingdom.
Yeah, there
A
was
lot
a
of
lot of
fans,
fighting.
a lot of fans dubbed that Pony Ball Z.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Although interesting enough, Katrina, you mentioned Marvel and DC. There was actually there's a wonderful YouTube video series called Death Battle, and they had Deadpool meet Pinkie Pie, and they just decided not to fight and just went off being all meta and like pulling out the user interface of YouTube and
I love
Twitch it
that.
together, live streaming probably.
What was it called again? I have to look this up.
the series is called Death Battle, and it's
Death
you know,
Battle.
just look up Death Battle Pinkie Pie and Deadpool. You'll find
Oh,
it. It's
Love
Thank
Deadpool.
you, Pie and
So
It's
Deadpool.
just wrong. It's just so wrong on so many
it's the
levels.
best kind of wrong.
I know, it's like kind of perfect, right? You
It's
know
the
what
best.
else?
Didn't Deadpool have Pinkie Pie in like one of his promo commercials?
Yep.
Did.
Yes,
He
he did.
Yes,
He sure
he
did.
really did.
They're meant to be together.
His
They
wife just
absolutely
made
are.
some cookies or something with Pinkie Pie. I think she just Instagrammed
Like
making
last
cookies, and Andrea had said, "Oh, I like those," because she was trying to draw something with icing on a cupcake or a cookie, and it was Pinkie Pie.
Oh my
All right, what about you, Brian? What's your dream crossover?
Dream crossover.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, because I grew up, it was one of the first movies I saw that made me want to be an actor, because Michael J. Fox was from Vancouver. And if you had like a Back to the Future version with ponies, it would probably be pretty, see something else that I would love to see.
You know what else would be great? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That would be good too.
Ponies,
Yeah.
shrinking
Yeah. It's got a tone that would really cross over
Honey,
well,
I Shrunk the
probably.
Ponies.
Nobody
you'd have
crossover
to
My
get
Little
Rick
Pony
Moranis out of
ET.
retirement for that.
Out of retirement, yeah. People stop punching him in New York. He might come out of retirement.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Poor Rick. He's such a great guy.
I love him so much. What about an Arthurian Arthur of the Round Table, or you know,
Oh, like Willow or something.
Knights and stuff.
a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
no ET. No ET.
Come
I
on,
will
you know
not.
you
No.
love
No.
E.T.
No. I will just
Shrek,
try.
Shrek,
Yes, Shrek.
Shrek,
Shrek. Ellie, why did I think of Shrek
Shrek.
first? Oh my God.
Shrek. I can't believe you didn't say Shrek first.
No. What's wrong with me today? I should have immediately thought of Shrek.
There's too many ideas, Sonya.
There's too many. There's too
Okay,
many.
we
You're
could also
absolutely
do
right.
what was the Beetlejuice? We could do Beetlejuice and
Everything.
Oh my God. I think I would pay good money to see Mist Main talking down Beetlejuice and explaining to him why he's wrong in so many ways.
I played Beetlejuice's grandmother in the series where Stephen Ouimet played Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
No.
Mother, and she was just like him, but 150 years old. And it was the most ridiculous insanity I think I've ever done in my life. Oh my gosh. Beetlejuice.
I am loving the direction this panel is taking. This is not the usual voice actor panel, and it's
Good.
just, this is fantastic. Thank you. I'm so glad I asked you guys to be here. Also, I wish Devyn were still here. For those who don't know, we did announce Devyn Dalton. She's off on doing some last minute reshoots for a movie she's in, so she had to cancel. But we wish her so well. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's for the best possible reason. She's out there getting work, and we are not about to stand in the way of that.
No.
She messaged me and she was like, I feel so bad. She sends love to you all.
No, this is, we all know with conventions and things, when those gigs come up, we're all excited that someone's got to jump out and do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Here at BABSCon, we had the unfortunate circumstance where we booked John Delancey two years running, and both times the exact same theatrical production. First the initial run, and then the revival took him away
at the exact same time.
And then we booked him a couple years later, and we finally got him to BABSCon. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think any of you guys were there for that, unfortunately, but it was great.
One day.
One day. Well, in the meantime, gosh, now I just want like absolutely all of you at the next BABSCon, which will be in April. And,
are you guys doing it next year?
We are. Oh, absolutely, we are. We had to do 2 contract rewrites with the hotel, 2 amendments to, the first time we didn't know how long it was going to be, so we're like, I don't know, give us our usual date in 2021, and then that obviously wasn't going to happen. And the second time, they also didn't fight us nearly as much. They were like, yeah, you guys need to do it for 2022, right? Yes, we need to do it for 2022. So we are happening Easter weekend 2022, April 15th through 17th. And oh, by the way, for anyone watching this stream, if you go over to BABSCon.com and register for any registration, any level, sponsor, doesn't matter, and you use pardon the commerce here, promo code BABSLab 2021, you can get 12% off. I don't know why 12. I don't know why they picked 12, but 12% off any level registration. So that can actually save you some good money. Anyway,
go to BABSCon. Anybody who's watching this,
I know
San Francisco.
I'm gonna go to BABSCon.
Yeah, it is so fun. Yeah, whoever has not been a guest there, like honestly, Sonya, you guys take such great care of all of the guests at BABSCon. It's one of the first big ones that I went to. I think I went to a little one with my daughter, Brinna.
Yeah, it was DerpyCon, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then we were at BABSCon, and it was just something else, and she was just so put at ease by how everybody was, and the panels and the sign, and just, it was fabulous. The hotel stay, and of course you're San Francisco. I mean, it's
right. And then there was that subsequent year we had both you and Brinna, and then we had because Ian had finally gotten cast on the show, Ian Corlett.
Yeah.
We got Ian and Claire, and so we had so it was this combination My Little Pony / Dragon Ball Z reunion that we commemorated in the announcement art. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
What's your theme for next year?
Ponies in space.
Wow, there you go. There's your Star Trek crossover.
The crossover with Star Trek. Start working on it now, and we
Star Trek.
The funny thing is, we did start working on it. This was the 2020 thing. We've just decided to put it into suspended animation, like you do on a long space trip, and then bring it out as we're getting close to landing. So, yeah. But anyway, let me see if there are any more last minute questions in the chat before we go. And then, of course, all y'all remember that we're only going to be gone for 15 minutes. Okay. And then we're going to come back at 3, and we're all just going to play Jackbox and chill out with y'all for an hour.
Great.
And we might have some additional surprise guests with us.
Oh.
And if y'all haven't played Jackbox, it's incredibly easy. For those of you who haven't done it yet, if you have your mobile phones at hand, you just have to be able to go to a website and press a button. That's all you got to do. It's pretty easy.
Ready.
Oh, I'm not ready. I need to be ready.
All you
And
need
you
is your
know
phone.
how I am with the Jackbox on BLEPCon. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, help me. Oh, no. Oh no,
Everybody,
You know,
technology will help.
actually, we are just about to time. So for now, it just remains to me, because obviously these are going to be two separate videos. So anyone watching this in the future is just going to have to think that this is the end when it's not the end.
There's a second video. There's a part 2. Flip the
So
disc.
for now, I just want to thank Brian Drummond, Ellie Ray Hennessy, Katrina Salisbury. You guys have been the best guests, especially in under trying circumstances. Thank you all so much. Everybody, we will be back in 15 minutes with Jackbox and a couple more people, and we're gonna have ourselves a great time and keep y'all entertained.
All right, bye. See you in
Bye.
15.